this is a pretty fun video in honor of everyone's favorite love month. We are just going to chat a bit, and there was a fun ice-breaking question that I wanted to ask you guys. If there was one person you'd allow to put a ring on it, who would it be and why? No questions asked. Now, if the why is a bit too personal, absolutely just put the who. And I'd love to see your answers in the comment section. So there's another question, and that question is, what does a promise ring mean to you? And in this season, I wanted to leave you, and in this video, I wanted to leave you 3 reminders. And the first reminder would be that in this season, in the next, and in any other season, do not allow the look of a ring on that finger, on anyone's finger, to allow you to feel inferior. I know too often that us as young women or anyone of any age sees a ring on someone else's finger, especially if they've never been married before, and they long for that. It's normal, it's natural. But this reminder is just to share with you or to encourage you not to feel less than, not to feel inferior because of a ring found or seen or shown on another individual's finger. So, piggybacking off of the first reminder, I also wanted to remind you of this, that you do in fact belong to someone. You belong to someone, and you are protected, cherished, and loved by that someone. I want to say that you are protected by that someone. This second reminder reminded me of my past, and it just reminded me of the feeling of always wanting to be feel as though I was protected. So when I first got saved, I would envision myself hiding under the wing of God and just being in his care, hiding in his bosom. And that feeling, that thought, that emotion, or the thinking of that made me feel so protected. Now, as a young woman, you want to feel protected. And I remember the feeling of protection when you had an uncle or a brother or a friend or a boyfriend, and you just knew that you could not be messed with because of that person's presence, whether it be a father, whomever. And it's the same thing with the one who you belong to. That feeling of protection, that assurance that you are cared for, that he is near, is one that you should carry with you, along with you all the time. His protection is far greater than any earthly protection that we could ever have. And I just want to encourage you in that. So number 3 on the list is that of reminders is that everything has a time. It has a moment and a place in time, and that includes your singleness. If you, like me, didn't intend or plan to be single, for example, I am a divorced woman or divorcee, if you want to call it that. And if you, like me, are someone like that, hey, I did not intend for singleness. I did not at all think that would be my place in this moment. I want to encourage you that all singleness, regardless of how it occurred, has a place in history. So your moment or your time of singleness, it has a place in history. And guess what? You get to decide what it will take up. You get to decide what that season of singleness will look like. You get to decide the place and the space that it's going to take up in history. And that's a big deal. That is a pretty big deal. So I wanted to encourage you in that your singleness, especially in Christ, is a beautiful thing. It's a gifting. And it's so important for you to take up space, for you to make a mark in history, whether you are single or are not. It's okay. Singleness is not a disease, and you will be all right. Own your single season, if it is a season, and embrace the moment, embrace it, and see where it leads you. Now, me answering what a promise ring would symbolize or signify to me, I would say the words that come up is commitment, it's a vow, it's a oath, so to speak. I would encourage you that if that is something that you would possibly want, whether it be a promise ring as you pledging your devotion to God, or a promise ring as you knowing that God has promised you marriage, or that's something that you have received or believe or are believing for yourself. Maybe that's why you wear a promise ring, or why you would want to wear a promise ring. If that's something that makes you feel more comforted or feel more connected to God through receiving or getting one, maybe you should look into it. I would encourage you to know your why, know your reason why you're wearing it. I would also encourage you to stay hopeful and believe God. Hope in Him does not disappoint. So I want to encourage you that to stay hopeful and to continue to believe God in this season, in the next, and in the next. No matter if your singleness changes or not. Hope in God does not disappoint. I want to share a brief story with you. Shortly after my divorce, I wanted to do something. For me, I knew commitment to God. I knew how to stay committed to God. I knew how to be committed to Him. And what I did was I got like a tattoo of just like a cross on here. And for me, what it stood for and what it was symbolic of in a season of just feeling like so let down at a moment that I thought would be forever, that wasn't. I did that. I got like a cross on my finger. And what that cross meant to me, because I'm such a pretty private person, so in my going through season, when you're like going through something, I literally am like just taking it to Jesus. Every single thing, just shooting it up there in prayer and in fasting and just in seeking His face, right? So like in that going through season, because it was a go through season and it was coming out season, right? I did this and I was just like, hey God, I am sure that I know how to be committed to you. So I know that there may not be a ring on this finger, but there has always been a commitment in my heart to you, and I vocally have said it time and time again, but I want to express it in this symbol. I want to express my commitment to you in this symbol on my ring finger, and letting you know that my commitment to you will not be broken regardless of what other commitments were. So here is your reminder to stay hopeful. Hope in the Lord. His commitment and His decision on you will never change. No matter whose decision has changed or will change concerning you, God's decision, His choice, His mind towards you was sealed since the beginning of time. It was stamped and approved over 2,000 years ago when Jesus Christ came, and He is now raised, seated in heaven at the right hand of our Father, and it has been delivered. His approval of you, His choice of you, His decision for you and to you will never change. And for that, like, we can always be grateful. All right, God bless.